Hey guys, I just wanted to talk a little bit about why profits and privacy are, um, they seem to be kind of mutually exclusive. If a company is focused on maximizing its profits, it's probably not focusing on privacy. And companies that are focusing on privacy could definitely make more money if they chose to just skip those privacy measures altogether and collect user data and use that information to one, monetize it, two, sell that data, or three, just use that information to advertise to their potential customers. So that's kind of, in a nutshell, that's why privacy and profits just don't really go together well, because companies like Google, Facebook, and Amazon have set the precedent that in order to make money, you have to use the information that you have about your customers, which is totally reasonable. If you're running a restaurant, it makes sense that you want to learn who your customer is and where they're coming from, what their demographic information is. That information is super useful in making your business better for those people. However, when it comes to online businesses, I think a lot of companies kind of take that a step too far. So Facebook uses tons of information it collects from you. It uses information about what content you interact with, what people you're connected to, what you talk about on your posts or in your messages to your friends or whatever. It just uses all that information to then allow other companies to use that data to advertise to you. And it's, in my opinion, I don't think Facebook does a good enough job of disclosing what it actually does. And I think many people that are tech savvy understand what's going on when they're using Facebook. It's presented as a tool to communicate with your friends and talk to your family, stay connected with people that you used to know, stuff like that. But that's not what the product is really doing. So you and your data are the actual products that Facebook is selling. And then Facebook uses that information to target ads to you, so back to you or to people similar to you, based on how you've used the platform. And I think if Facebook was kind of more transparent about their actual functionality, one, they would have less issues with privacy, you know, leaks and stuff like that, where people find out, oh, well, Facebook was collecting this information, or that company that was linked to Facebook used my information for my Facebook profile. If Facebook were more transparent about their lack of privacy, people would be happier when they found out that, that's what was going on, rather than, oops, we messed up and lost millions of data records. And then, people get pissed and they say delete Facebook and all that stuff, but they end up using the platform anyway. So maybe Facebook knows something that I don't, and they just keep doing that. And then Google, they're less focused on connecting you to your friends. Their main way of collecting your information is through search. So what you search for online is a pretty good indicator of what you're interested in and kind of what you're likely to interact with. So if Google knows that you're searching for a new car, Google can then charge that company to place an ad above your search results, targeting you based on what you've searched for in the past. Google also has a ton of other products that it uses to collect your information, like Gmail, like Google Drive, like Google Calendar. All that stuff, plays into Google's ecosystem of data collecting products. And that's what has allowed Google to be the number one advertiser on the internet. All the banner ads you see on websites, most of those are from Google, and they're likely specifically targeted to you. So if I go to a website and I see ads for, VPN, you may go to that website and see ads for, some shoes you just looked at on Amazon or something. That's Google tracking you and identifying you as a specific demographic or a target in their advertising campaign. And then Amazon is kind of the same thing. You search for a product on there, they're going to advertise to you, and they may use Google Ads or Facebook Ads to actually do that. But they're just collecting tons of information through Amazon Prime, through their if you use Prime streaming services, or what you buy on there. Amazon collects that information, combines that with your demographic and your address and all that stuff, and uses that to determine what you might buy in the future. And so these companies are obviously great examples of companies that are making huge amounts of money by not respecting people's privacy. And then you have plenty of companies that are out there that are profitable, that are dedicated to protecting people's privacy. Apple is probably not the best example just because of the privacy issues that they have had, but it's a company that could collect more specific information about their users, but they either choose not to or have just done a really good job of not disclosing that they have. And then companies like DuckDuckGo, it's done a great job of growing despite not having all the information that Google does about its users. So there's companies out there that are profitable without compromising on privacy. But just because we've seen how valuable data can be and how much it can help companies maximize their profits, we're likely not going to see many businesses decide, well, I don't want that information. And for most businesses, that's probably okay because the information they're collecting isn't that sensitive. But if you're a doctor's office and you're targeting people based on their health characteristics, that gets a little iffy. And if you're a bank and you're targeting people based on how much money they have in their checking account, that's personal. That's too personal. For most people, they think that banks shouldn't do that. But if you're a restaurant and you collect information about how old your average customer is, that's a little, concerning for some people, but for most, that's okay. I really don't mind you tracking that information. So I think it's just kind of a balancing act. Obviously small businesses don't want to put their customers at risk and then, end up losing their trust because they failed to protect, some information that they had about them. So there is risk for the businesses as well if they, just ignore the privacy issues that they have. They're probably going to end up behind in the long run because people are going to avoid their business and not do business there. So I think privacy is super important. I think it's something that, as we lose more and more of it, we're going to hopefully realize that, hey, we need to step up and do something here. Or, in 5 more years or 10 more years, we're going to have absolutely zero privacy. And we're not going to be able to do anything without somebody being able to find out about it or tracing it back to us or whatever. And I think, there might be more outrage at some point in the future. But for right now, we're just kind of sticking to the status quo and allowing Google and Facebook and Amazon to grow into these massive companies thanks to the data they collect. So at some point, we're probably going to have to check them and maybe regulate them or break up their monopolies that they've developed. So we'll see what happens, but thanks for watching. Subscribe if you made it this far. I really appreciate you watching, and hope I can bring you some more value soon.